I'm going to be talking with Jean Reynolds, who is the new Peace with Justice Coordinator for the California and Nevada Annual Conference. Welcome, and thank you for stopping by the conference office to have a conversation with us and tell us about yourself and your work. If you could start just by sharing a little about yourself.
I'm a lifelong United Methodist and grew up in eastern Washington State. I came to California to work for Chevron Corporation as a lab technician, and have continued to make the church and social activism a part of my purpose.
How would you define peace with justice?
To me, that means addressing the root causes of injustice and working toward an end to unjust situations.
Mm-hmm. Some examples of what you think that peace with justice work needs to address.
Well, our conference committee has representatives from the North Korean or the Korean community, and they're interested in promoting peace on the Korean Peninsula and justice for Korean Americans. And there are, I'm a member of the Philippine Solidarity Task Force, and we work to be in solidarity with the people of the Philippines and the oppression that they find themselves in. And also, we work on the ground with communities in the United States with Filipino Americans and immigrants, to try to inform people, and our goal is to stop the killings in the Philippines and to stop the funding the U.S. government sends for the police and the military that is used to oppress the Filipino people. So there are people from Israel-Palestine Task Force on the Advocacy and Justice Committee, and Immigration Task Force, and several justice areas.
How do you see, or how is peace with justice work rooted in United Methodism? Theologically, historically, this has been something that kind of is at the core of the denomination, wouldn't you say?
I would say that. I really see that as John Wesley's primary message was that your faith should be about your action for justice and to help people who are on the margins. And he demonstrated that. And to me, there's always been a thread through the United Methodist Church that has kept that going, and that's been the thread that I've clung to as important in my faith journey.
What does the Peace with Justice Coordinator's job consist of? What is your work about?
One of the things Advocacy and Justice Committee has decided is that we would like to increase communication with people in congregations who are interested in advocacy and outreach, and connect them better than we've done in the past. So I've been charged with helping establish a better communication network, specifically with church and society committees in local congregations, or just people who are already doing that work and would like to have more resources through our annual conference. And of course, an ongoing responsibility has been to process the Peace with Justice grants and ecumenical grants. And Jim Kramer is still going to take a role in doing that part.
The deadline to apply for the Peace with Justice grants is February 15th. So can you talk about that program?
Well, that's another thing that I'd like to get more communication and maybe more examples of the kinds of projects that congregations get or organizations get grants to support. And there's quite a wide variety of ways that people have used those grants. We'd like to do a better job of following up to find out how the program resulted, if they felt like their program was successful, or how they might have changed it. But I believe it's up to $2,000 is available. If the entire grant is approved, and it's meant to be used for starting a new program and not to be paying for someone's salary or ongoing costs for a program that exists already.
A church that has an interest in doing something new that falls into the line of Peace with Justice ministry would come up with a proposal, I guess, a plan, a grant request, and make application for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we heard from representatives at the General Board of Church and Society, oh yeah, we have grant money for some of these things too. So I don't want people to feel limited by what they think they can fund, and to be dreamers about how they can serve in their communities.
Peace with Justice Sunday is coming up in a few months, in June. How would you like to see churches planning for this special Sunday now, and how would you like to see it observed? What kind of participation would you like there to be in this conference?
Well, the collections that are made on that day, a lot of it is retained for our annual conference to use.
Does it go into the grants program, or is it used in another way?
It does go into the grants program directly.
Okay.
Yes. So, and of course we can use those funds in other ways, but it would be great if they were used for grants. That's what we would like.
You have a program that General Board of Church and Society is kind of working with you to make a part of the conference training too, do you not?
Yes, we do. And I just received it yesterday in the mail. This is my own sample of it, but it's called A Toolkit for Faithful Civic Engagement, Creating Change Together. And it gives steps about how to go from what you feel your values are and what your faith informs you about how our communities should be, and then how to advocate both as a in your local government and in state and federal government to advocate for the changes that you'd like to see.
I'd like you to talk about advocacy a little bit, just about the nature of it and what you think its role is in the church overall, and what responsibility you see that we have as those of us who profess to be disciples of Jesus Christ.
At a training that I went to that was put on by General Board of Church and Society was how in congregations it's easier to do the kind of ministry where you're giving money or providing things from an external position, and it's certainly a service that's needed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that you would want to discourage that kind of giving or generosity, but the other thing is an awareness that people don't just need that money as a one-time thing or whatever, but usually the reason they need it is because ongoing circumstances put them in a position of not being able to provide for themselves, or so the idea is that we let marginalized communities tell us what they need, and that we accompany them as they advocate for their own liberation, basically. Mm. And sometimes that's through legislative needs, but sometimes it's just helping them get a voice in their own circumstances, be able to tell their own story. So to me, that's what advocacy is. It's partnering with people. And the outcome is that everybody is enriched.
Is there anything you'd like to add about your work, about the work of the committee, about upcoming events, or anything at all?
There's an annual event that's held in Washington, D.C. It's called Ecumenical Advocacy Days. It's a conference followed by a chance to lobby, and you get to work with people from your own districts and state when you lobby. So it'll be held April 5th through the 8th, and our Advocacy and Justice Committee is so interested in having people participate that we voted to offer 2 scholarships of $750 each to 2 young adults from Cal, Nevada to attend. And there is also money available through Ecumenical Advocacy Days for young adults to attend. So we hope that the money isn't an object. Sometimes the time away is an object for people. But we would like to include as many people from our annual conference as we can this year.
How would a young adult apply to be considered for that?
They can either contact me or Michael Yoshi, who is the chair of our committee.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate your spending the time with us and helping share the message that you have, the very important message.
And I hope that people in the annual conference have a heightened awareness of the Advocacy and Justice Committee and seek us out to learn more and become more active.